Check. 1 2 1 2. Hey, what's up, everyone? Am I live right here? Let me see. Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Friday! Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show. Today we have Chris Green. Chris, how you doing today? How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for taking your time on this Friday evening. I know it's a little later for you.
That's okay. Pleasure to be here.
Love it. All right, guys, everyone. We got about 5 more minutes to go. If you're just tuning in, we have Chris Green in the house, and we'll be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. Something very technical. I've been doing SEO for quite some time now, and I really don't understand what these are. And I know Chris is such a smart guy. He's going to explain it for us. Did you get a chance to kind of review some of the questions I was going to ask about this?
They're on the invite. If so, yes.
All right. Yeah. They're all in there. They're all in there. I mean, guys, I know there's a lot of things here. I know I probably maybe already be doing embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. I just don't know it, but we're going to find out for sure today. All right, guys. We got about 4 more minutes to go. If you're in the live chat, don't be shy. Let me know where you're watching from. Where are you calling in from today, Chris?
I am about an hour outside of London, England. City called Colchester that probably haven't heard of, but yeah, hour away from the big city. So,
nice.
Anyway,
nice. So is it a lot more trees than the city, or is that like?
Oh yeah. I've got It's I can go in 15 minutes in one direction. I'm in the country, so.
There you go.
I'm not born for cities. If I head over the pond and end up in New York or Manhattan, I'm just lost.
Oh man.
Looking upwards the whole time, nah. I'm originally from a farming town. So,
okay.
Yeah, a little bit different.
There you go. All right, guys. If you're just tuning in, we have Chris Green in the house. We'll be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. This is gonna be a good one, guys. Let's see here. Let me make sure. I see a bunch of you out there. Don't be shy. Say hi in the live chat and let me know where you're watching from.
Let's get me on the live chat. Where's the URL for that? Have I got it?
Yeah, the live people asking questions. It'll come on the screen if anyone asks questions. Yeah, so you'll be able to see on the screen. So you don't have to worry and look back and forth.
Go on, be nice though, audience.
There you go, guys. We got about 3 more minutes to go. If you guys are interested in going to Brighton SEO in San Diego, I do have some free tickets to give away. Just shoot me an email at dre@seo.video, and I will pick some few winners when it comes close to it. dre@seo.video if you want to get some free tickets to Brighton SEO. Are you going to
I've got not used to Brighton SEO being across the pond. I've been to the Brighton England one 14 or so times, maybe.
Oh wow!
And then when it's it's Brighton, but it's not Brighton.
No, it's a San Diego.
My tiny mind.
Are you going to this one? Are you going to San Diego this year? Or no.
I'm not. No, I'd love to. I'm going to be over in New York in September, and that's it for this year. I've planned, but I need an excuse to come over. I've neglected.
San Diego's a beautiful town. Yeah, San Diego's a beautiful town.
Nice.
So, yeah. All right, guys. We got less than 2 more minutes to go. We have Chris Green in the house. If you're just tuning in, we have Chris Green, and we'll be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. Something I think I know about. Would love to know more about it. I'm pretty sure all SSEOs are already doing it. We just don't know what it's called or the technical term of it. See here, we got a shy crowd today. Let's see a few of you out there not saying what's up. Where you guys at?
We just have to vibe out to this music. That's all we need to do.
What's that?
Just the music. I just kind of caught the loop.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. We got about 1 more minute to go. So, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and put you on real quick. I'm going to just do my quick introduction, and I'll just bring you right back in. All right. All right, guys, we got less than one more minute to go. We have Chris Green in the back, and we'll be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks, and how it relates to LLMs and AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it. But we will be talking about some great things today. Believe it or not, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm trying to hash through it, so I'm drinking my Gatorade here.
Yeah. Hey, time to get it started. No delay. Let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre de Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO. You will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started, a self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show.
Hey! Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre de Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guests, and today we have Chris Green, and we'll be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I didn't see anyone say in chat. I see we have a shy crowd right now, but let's get right into it.
Hey Dre, why did the SEO cross the road? They wanted to get hit by traffic.
All right. I didn't see any updates coming from Google when I checked out any ranking updates, so that's a good thing. So let's go ahead, and before we introduce our guests, here's a word from our sponsor.
Your traffic is vanishing and AI search is the reason why. Hi, I'm Paul Andre de Vera, a 20-year SEO pro, and this is how I beat AI in its own game. Answer engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity are all replacing Google results. And your organic traffic is disappearing. No links, no attribution, just lost visibility. Right at the moment, people are deciding what to buy. These answers shape the buyer's journey, but you get zero traffic and zero credit. So how do you stay visible even when search engines stop sending traffic? I use Profound, the only tool built to help brands in AI search. I used to spend hours optimizing for rankings. Now I optimize for answers, and Profound tells me precisely what AI is talking about my brand. Profound gives you answer engine insights. See where and how AI mentions your brand. Agent analytics. Track how often AI crawlers visit and use your content. Conversation Explorer. Discover what real users ask AI before they buy. And shopping visibility. Boost product presence in ChatGPT shopping. If you're not showing up in AI answers, you're out of the conversation. Start now before your brand disappears from the buyer's journey. Be sure to click the link below and try Profound.com to take back your brand's visibility.
Chris is an SEO consultant with over 15 years of experience. He's a senior consultant at Torque Partnerships and a former technical director at Footprint Digital. He is a conference speaker, mentor, Systrix trainer, and UK Search Award winner. Please welcome Chris Green.
Chris, my man, welcome to the show.
No one's going to top that now.
Love it. Everyone, let's give a round of applause for Chris.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, this is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. And whatever or less, how does Chris get ranking on page 1 of Google?
For my name, really difficult. I have to become a politician or a country western singer.
Oh, you're right.
I'm not even the only Chris Green in marketing. I've been to marketing conferences and people have taken my name badge, and that's really griefed me out. So,
wow.
Yeah, the actual answer: just give the content, the people the content that they need, and show the value. Right. I got my speak about my wife ranking recently. Started her new business. We're top of page 1 for our city, just through doing that. Give them the good stuff, solid platform content that they need.
Love it. Boom. First knowledge bomb today. Let me rewind this quick. Hold on. All right, take us way back, about 15 years ago. How'd you first get into SEO?
Wowie. Short answer: blagged a job. Did a master's degree in film and literature.
Oh.
didn't know what to. Then got a job doing something completely different. My interview, I wrote 500 words about stapler. And I said I knew what Google Analytics and organic traffic was, and they went, "Cool, sounds like you're qualified. Have a job." And I learned analytics, paid search, a very small amount of SEO. A few months later, landed an agency, and then been in agency land ever since, until say 4 or 5 years ago. Took the plunge into consulting, stepped up with enterprise, and and haven't looked back. Don't regret my choices one bit.
Love that. Okay, so what made technical SEO part of your path? I mean, you get pretty technical. I've been like reading a lot of your blogs and on LinkedIn, putting some great stuff. And sometimes it's over my head. So I'm like, how'd you get into that part of SEO and being so great at it?
So the first one is I got inducted on the technical SEO team, and they're like, "Well, you're not a developer, but we'll give it a go." But I've been messing around on the internet since that was a thing, really. So it's just being damn nosy. Like, I don't know why this isn't working. Why doesn't it work? We need to learn HTML. Okay. You need to learn CSS. Okay. You need to learn PHP. And I'm not adept, like an engineer. I'm not a developer. I can't do that. I'm an SEO, like, got an absolute disclaimer, but just curious enough to not let go until I find the answer and learn enough to do what I need to and on to the next one. You do that for 15 years and you got to have a technical mind, right? There's a degree of that. Like, I love the detail and the intricacy. And I've had lots of managers who have tried and taught me how to hone and harness that. And the clients don't care about this as much as you do, man. Just focus on the end goal. And yeah, we got there.
Love it. Okay, so I mean, what were some resources that helped you like along your path? I mean, were there any like websites you're visiting? Any people you followed? I mean, like, how were you like actually like teaching yourself, like learning this?
So right now, like it's staying close to the other super smart people, Dan Petrovic, Mark Williams-Cook, and more to name Aleda and a few others. Like there's a group of people who are really sort of pushing now and just following them really closely, because absolutely everything that's coming out of it is just literally, I've tested this. This is now a thing. Here are the possible implications. Let's go and test the next and on to the next. But for people looking to start, it's always been, for me anyway, Coattails of Moz, a lot of Rand's original work, a lot of that side is where I kind of come in. I think I learned a lot of the basic SEO stuff around that time. And then just following industry press like Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land. Then when Twitter was in its kind of height, just ceaselessly. And now LinkedIn. Not my favorite social network, but it's just such a great place for knowledge share. The engagement that you get is really powerful. And then a couple of other noteworthy mentions. A guy called Robin Lord. He is super obsessed about teaching people technical that don't have technical backgrounds. So interactive games on learning regex, learning SQL, HTML, CSS. If you really want to learn, but it's not going in the right way, and you want to play a game at the same time, like, it's worth checking out some of his stuff. Like, I practically learned SQL from him, or his SQL game helped me turn it into actual usable sort of knowledge. So I would advocate that. Like, I'm big on SEOs learning their adjacent skills. Like, you don't have to be a dev, you don't have to be an analyst, but the better you are at those things, the more you get done.
Excellent.
All right, so let's take us to like you got into speaking, right? So like, how'd you get into like speaking at conferences, and how's that gone for you?
Well, full circle. Brighton SEO was the first major one that I did. Kelvin said yes when I pitched some harebrained stuff, and I've been doing local talks. I just wanted to start giving talks to people in the agency. Basically, I thought this stuff's really cool. I want to share it with everyone else. And they're like, well, to do that, you need to get up in front of people. I went, okay, let's give that a go. And it just got out of hand, really. I think always, I've working agency side so long, like speaking has always been such a key one, like communicating with the client, presenting ideas, pitching. And for me, the giving a talk at like a conference is like the fun version of that. The jeopardy feels a lot less. It's not like a multi-million contract on the line. It's just sharing a knowledge with like-minded people. So I've just followed that, really. The other thing is, for me, if I'm giving a talk on it, I want to learn the best I can. So it's like, there's nothing like giving you the impetus to learn something than saying, well, I'm going to give a talk, so I've got to know my stuff. And that certainly puts the pressure on, which I find.
Love that, love that. And I know there's a lot of SEOs out there that do want to speak at conferences. And what's maybe one piece of advice for you for them to like pitch their topic and try to get picked for a talk?
Pitching the topic, what is useful and interesting out there right now? That doesn't mean what was popular last year or the year before. It's look in the direction of it. I think if you're pitching to industry people, what are your biggest problems you need to solve today? Doesn't matter if you've solved it yet. If you think you know how to solve it or you've just solved it, there's a good chance other people have the same. And I think pitching like that solution, like really clear, actionable one, is such a great way to get in there. I think if you're trying to pitch some high level, like thought piece or something provocative or like life coaching, if you're just starting out, don't even try that. Like you'll find you'll have little success. Do practical little things, like really nerd out on an area and show people how much you care. And those pitches will be powerful. Then new feature, ChatGPT is great at helping you hone pitches. If you've got an idea but you can't put it into 3 lines succinctly, get good at that, or let ChatGPT help you get good at that. Just remove the emojis and the M dashes, and that's a big help.
Love it, love it. There you go, guys. So let's get into our topic of today. And today we're going to be talking about embeddings, cosigns, and chunks. I know you guys, we hear this all the time. We read about it. We maybe be doing it. I mean, I've not as technical, and I maybe be doing it. So we're going to try and figure this out. So Chris, I've been hearing a lot more about vector embeddings. For someone who's been in SEO already, I mean, that isn't technical. What is this?
So it's kind of, the short take is it's turning human readable words into kind of machine readable formations. It's kind of turning words, or not just words, parts of words into numbers that machines can drive meaning from. It kind of plots it in vector space, and I won't go off on that direction because frankly I might liable to get some of the detail wrong because I know at a usable level. I'm not a data scientist for sure. But it's a way of making machines understand the similarities between words, or sorry, it's converting it into that machine readable way. So you'll find that the way you generate embeddings, there's different services. OpenAI have one, Google has one. There's tons. There's free versions like Sbert. There's ones for French called Camembert, which I find really funny. And then there's lots of other ways. I'm a nerd instantly, but there are lots of ways of just transforming words into these vectorized, these strings of numbers, just so you can help understand how do they relate, or you can use those to understand how they relate, which has loads of applications in SEO, which I'm sure we're about to come on to.
Got it. Okay, so that's still a little bit more technical for me. So let's break it down even more. I mean, let's put it in the perspective of if it was a recipe or a playlist or like a map. Like let me visualize this for like how we can do this.
So I've been thinking about how do I make this translatable, and I may butcher this, but let's give it a go. So wedding seating plan. Okay. By weddings, I mean if none of you have experienced like English weddings, certainly kind of then you may know. But broadly, seating plans, we try and see everyone near where people are like either related or most likely to get on. So same family, same friends, etc. Okay. I would imagine this is kind of the process that we convert words into ways that a machine can understand that kind of seating plan. So by the time you've converted all of these people into their machine readable numbers, they still relate in certain areas. They're different relationships, except rather than being by blood or family, it's the semantic meaning, like the relationships between the words and the concepts. They don't have to be exact match. They don't have to be identical twin brothers. They can be cousins or distant cousins or even in-laws if the relationship is by marriage. So it's kind of just finding a way of plotting the relationship between it. If you are a data scientist and I have upset you, don't comment in the live chat.
All right, I love that. It does make sense too, because when you're doing seating tables at weddings, you at least are putting you're making sure that there's chemistry there, right? So there's some relationship between that table that that they'll work to be well. There won't be any arguments, but altogether, you're there for the wedding. It makes a lot of sense. I love that. Okay, let's so how has vector embeddings all of a sudden become so important in SEO?
Good question. I mean, I guess they've always been important, or they should have been, and I think there's a degree of lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. I've got to throw it out to Mike King for being one of the people to put it on the radar to start with. Like I definitely didn't sit there one day and went, hey, I wonder how I can use this abstract kind of concept. Like Mike's like, you'll need to look at vector embeddings. They're going to be big in SEO. And true story, they are. I mean, but to kind of bring it back, it's a tool. It's kind of like if I'm building something, it's my hammer, it's my, it's not that vector embeddings are the core of SEO. It's just a really, really good way of understanding how things should relate to each other. Specifically words, concepts, how we kind of connect meaning. And it helps us step away from just pure keywords, which, not super accurate like anymore. In that way.
Love it, dropping all these knowledge bombs. So actually, you said a tool. I know you have, I remember coming across some of your content, and you actually have a GitHub, or you put out some free tool.
Yeah.
I mean, is this vector embeddings, or am I getting confused? Something? What is that tool that you have out there for people?
So that one I was just testing. So you can have different tools or different embeddings models create different embeddings. Like not everything understands meaning in the same way. So that particular one is just helping compare against different methods. So that one was SBERT, which is a free one hosted on Hugging Face, compared to OpenAI's embeddings. And it's just, some models do it better or worse than others, and sometimes it works better in certain circumstances. I mean, that particular one was, I was just working out like how close our matches. Like if, and I'm not going to go into the detail, but sometimes you want one model, sometimes you want another. And I think that really like micro tool is just helping people frame that one. So but if nothing else, just test it and have a look. You can kind of see, these are my words. I'm a human. I understand these words. I'm not a machine, but how do the machines understand the relationship between these? And I think that one plots the similarity between the two. So that can be fun to play with.
Love it. Thank you for making that available, guys. And you can definitely check it out. Check out his website. You can get a link on it on chris-green.net. Is the link on there? Yep. Or is it on just LinkedIn? Because I think I found it. Yeah. Okay, love it. All right, so let's go into Cosign similarity versus dot product. So I mean, I have actually even heard about dot product until I was doing some research for this conversation here. But so, I mean, Cosign similarity. Okay, I've been hearing this a lot as well. I mean, can you explain what that is and how is it different than vector embeddings? And
well, so Cosign similarity is, so you've vectorized two pieces of content. You create the vector embeddings for say a keyword and a page title, and you want the machine to tell you how closely related those are. Cosign similarity is one of the methods to calculate that, and at the absolute basic level, it's just the distance between the two. So if it's a cosine similarity of 1, that means they're identical. If it's 0, it means they couldn't be any less related. And it just, whenever you're scoring using cosine similarity, it's just a question of what's the threshold. 0.8 is a strong relationship, 0.4 isn't. Do I set a threshold there and do I not? So if you're doing redirect mapping and you want to understand, is one URL similar to another, you'll pick a certain level of similarity. It's never 1, because most URLs are never identical. You wouldn't be mapping them otherwise. But a 0.8, in some of my work, over a 0.5 is good enough to put it in contention. We use that. Anything below, we put it in the bin because it's just not related enough to even worth looking at. So that's the cosine similarity bit. Dot product is complex, and it's sort of getting on the edge of my skill set. But this is more good. So when we look at the similarity between things, SEO's mostly been using cosine similarity because it's simple. It's the difference between two. Dot product is more complex, but the reason why Google uses it is not only does it see the relationship, but it also looks at the kind of the strength as well as the distance. So I don't know, just to kind of, as an example, it could be that two things are related, but how strong is that relationship, or how trustworthy could that relationship be? I've probably mangled that a bit, but that it's easier to kind of think on that way. So when we look at cosine similarity and Google's looking at dot product, we're probably only looking at 2-dimensional view, whereas Google's doing that 3-dimensional view. So for some of its things, it's more accurate. For other things, it doesn't matter so much. Kind of depends on what you're trying to get from it, really.
Love that. So, I mean, how would I measure this? Or like, I mean, are there tools out there that you're using, or is this something that we have to like look at and like divide something by numbers? I mean, like how are you measuring this?
That's trickier. I think if you're using a lot of like the embeddings tools that are out there already, that magnitude is sort of flattened out. So you can't say, take one of the tools that I've built and try and get it to use dot product instead of cosine similarity. I mean, I've literally tried to do that, and the issue is it's just that magnitude's gone. It's still flat. You'll get effectively the same score. I think for most SEOs, it's not super useful. It really depends on the complexity of what you're trying to do. I think if you're kind of working on much more the data science, machine learning end, and you want to start really understanding complex link graphs as well as keywords and things like that, I think that would have much more benefit. But then we're starting to drift away. I'm kind of getting slightly shaky knees at that point. It's slightly less comfortable space.
Love that. All right. So let's get into another part of something that's pretty technical here. It's like chunking content. All right. I think is this a buzzword or is this an actual word? Process that like when you chunk content, what is that?
So I mean, I used to work with lots of like UX conversion optimization people, and very much just like you write content, you write it into chunks. It's called content chunking, and it's just a degree of just breaking up bits into human readable text. So I think a lot of SEOs or marketers in general will be like, well, that's chunking content, right? We have been doing that, or we should have been doing that for years. In this context, one of the other meanings is chunking, as in how text is broken, or how a web page is broken into parts to then be processed and then made use of however you do it. So that could be how you're training a large language model, how that text is broken up into bits. Like entire web pages are too long. Okay. They have to be broken up into usable bits. And when you're searching against those bits, you're comparing against each chunk rather than say the whole page. So it's simply how a page is broken up. Like, what are the bits? And there's lots of different methods behind that. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper on that. So, I mean, how do you think Google decides that counts what a chunk is, right? Or like, can you explain that when you said like how Google does it? Yeah. So there's not. I haven't seen anything that I'd consider definite. I think there's a few people that point at some of the Vertex AI docs and some of the stuff around how if you're using Google's AI tooling to build your own tools, they have like a sort of like a dynamic chunking that it looks at the context and the web page and the markup, and again, really simply, if something's in a paragraph tag, that might be considered a chunk. Unless it gets super long, then it might have to break it in half. But it's sort of aware of the layout, and it tries to break the page into chunks that make sense. So you could use that to remove like a navigation. Like if you're looking at the page content and navigations on every page, let's chuck that away. Let's just consider the content. So that layout awareness is used. So that, I think that's Google use a version of that. I'd say a lot of people have said that they've got the exact way of replicating that, and I'd say I'd be slightly skeptical because we have no way of knowing if it's identical. But it's breaking up the parts of the page, to put it the most simply.
Got it. Love that. And guys, and people in the audience, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the live chat we have here. Calling learners out here. I would think Dom. So I'm assuming that's a technical term. Doms. So let's go into. So what about writing styles then? Like, can we think of like chunking in different writing styles? Or, how do you think about that?
Yeah. So I think I guess the first way is like however chunks are broken up. Like if a chunk is just done by defined like lengths, like if you just say it's a certain level of tokens. There we go. Larry's broadly said what I was saying there. So yeah, by the tags in the DOM.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Broadly, I'd say that's kind of layout aware. In terms of writing styles, if you are a really long and rambling writer, kind of like my speech just then, you go into one subject and you come back again, and you imagine someone's going to start cutting up what you've said into small chunks. Yeah. How well does any single chunk answer what it is that you want to be found for? Okay. And I think I'm going to plagiarize someone, might be Twain, I'm not sure, but it's like the whole like one question, one answer. So it's kind of break your things up into like conceptually distinct chunks when you're writing. So if I'm going to answer a question, just ask it and answer it in one. Don't go off and tell an anecdote about something your dad once told you to then answer it. It's like, keep it really simple, really declarative. Like, these are small chunks. It's going to be based on the clearer you are at answering that question or addressing that concept in that chunk, the more confidence it will have in that given area. And the less likely that the good stuff's not spread across lots of different chunks. I mean, if it is, it's not the end of the world. It just means that your chances of being shown for that will just be reduced. So from a writing style point of view, that's key. I think coming back to the layout awareness side, so lists, using bullet lists, semantic markup like headings, paragraph tags, bits like that. If you're using those kind of like good standard HTML to mark up what it is you're doing, and assuming that you write in nice, concise paragraphs and not like some horrid kind of just rambling prose, then it's just making it easier certainly for machines to kind of break it up into its respective bits and make meaning of it. But it also has a massive benefit to humans who just have a question. They just want to see the answer really simply. Like everything that I've just described makes it easier to chunk and then retrieve, but also probably makes it easier for humans to kind of just run with. And the same goes to how we use language, and just be clear, be definite, don't be obtuse and kind of go around the houses. Just say what you mean and put it clearly. Again, that just increases that chance of retrieval.
Love it, dropping all these knowledge bombs here. So, okay, we've talked about vector embeddings, we talked about cosigns, we talked about dot product, we talked about chunking. So, how do we bring this all together? Like, is there some case study like you like how have you used all this and like just killed it when it comes to SEO or even AEO? I would love to venture off and start talking about more about AEO, GEO. Yeah.
So I think from the SEO side, simply just kind of content readability just boosts it massively. And this is part of the thing, like with what we're doing. And I think you said it a few times, like maybe we've all been doing this.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's been breaking their content down and using correct semantic HTML, which last time I checked, SEO should be doing. We have kind of been doing that. And I think that readability, answering the question that's asked, has worked, and it still will work. Let's be frank. There's a lot of people have got different opinions on some of the real minutiae, but fundamentally, I don't really feel that's super changed. I think with the AEO side, the challenges we've got with optimizing for AEO is I kind of think we're optimizing at two ends. We're firstly optimizing for the models and the training. So GPT-5, I don't know if this is confirmed, but this reports that the training cutoff was like June last year. So that training's done. That model, that data, for anything data from then on, if GPT thinks it needs to fetch live data, it queries like a live search. It uses an engine called SonicBerry, which then draws off Google, Bing, and maybe some other stuff that we still don't know yet. And that's like a live search. So if your content is available now to one of these services, that content you've optimized 2 weeks ago may show up. And if anything, we're seeing that recency is a massive factor in that. But if GPT-5 doesn't care, it thinks, actually, I don't need fresh data for this. I've got all I need. All of the data that I've been scraping for maybe that I shouldn't have been is all there. It's the content that you optimized a year ago or more, is the stuff that's is going to have the most impact. And this is kind of like the tension in terms of how we optimize for it. It's like, is your query fresh enough to need today's data? Or was it yesterday's data that it's going to rely on? And that's from a prioritization point of view, that's huge. So I've had some people say, well, if it's not going to query live search, I don't need to worry about it now, right? That's tomorrow's problem. And my answer to that is I have bot traffic data showing they're still training their models on this stuff now. So today's content could be GPT-6 or 5.1 or whatever the next iteration is. So there's a degree of the stuff we know is useful today and the stuff that we know will be useful, but by the time we realize we've not optimized it correctly and the new model comes out, it's kind of too late. So there's an emphasis on you still have to optimize it all, right? Like nothing's gone out of the window. But with the results for AEO, is it fresh or not? That's one of the bigger factors.
So how can LLMs, or how can we direct LLMs to like know something is fresh? Or like, like how, are there keys that we give away, or is it just publishing something and it's out there and we submit it to like get indexed?
I think some of it is just discovery, like new stuff. It will just say we've not seen this URL before, it's new, or we're checking back on this URL and it looks different. So at the real basic level, I think whilst someone like OpenAI is using Google or Bing or possibly other data services, they'll know it's new from that, and that has a huge impact. I know Mark Williams-Cook and a few others did some experiments with LinkedIn and some of LinkedIn's posts, and basically found that if you throw something on LinkedIn, it will get discovered and it will get surfaced in that data really quickly if it's a query that has recency. So just that new piece of content on that high trust source we know is easily discoverable, and it can be there, but it won't be there for long unless the other signals, the quality signals, the authority signals support it to be there. And what exactly those are is still being discussed.
Love that. Okay, so we've been talking more about like, content wise. I mean, like for like embeddings and these cosign similarities, is there other uses that we can use? Like, can we use this like in our research like internal linking? Like how is this?
Yeah.
Oh, like what are
I'd say the application. I think for a tool for SEOs, I think the application of creating vector embeddings, looking at the similarity between them, it's more of a tool for analysis. So one of the ones I've used it the most for is 301 redirect mapping.
Oh,
so
okay.
Pulling a content list from API A, calling it from new API B, and then, well, where are the closest matches? Like, because they're not identical, but I want some confidence that what I'm mapping is right. And basically, I'm using vector embeddings and Cosign similarities to not be 100% confident. I'm not taking any decision as writ, but basically, I get to immediately remove everything that's obviously not right, and then give me a scoring system for the stuff that is, which speeds up redirect mapping dramatically. Some people are literally just piling it all in and just letting it do the work. And if you have a website that works on, great. But in my experience, like business logic, product naming, vector embeddings aren't perfect for that either. So I'd suggest test it. But Screaming Frog tool has that built in. Like if you've got an up-to-date version of that, there will be, there's a vector embeddings in there now. I can't remember what model they use. Maybe it's this, but it doesn't matter. You can use that to do that. So that's one thing. Understanding how optimized a page is. So I've got this query. How optimized is this page? Or this is the most impressioned query for a given page. How close is that to the title, to the H1, to the body content? Well, the process is more complex, but if you vectorize it and you look at the Cosign similarities, that will help you understand that distance between it and then work out, do I need to do more work or not? So that, again, super, super useful. I guess a lot of that will be very similar to a lot of what the SEO tools and like content recommenders kind of do. So that won't feel revolutionary, but it's just slightly more accurate. And then we go off into various other things. I was doing an Instagram analysis, just looking at, so Instagram posts now in SERPs. How close is the content of that Instagram post content to the query? So does query impact the chance of recall? Just wrote an app script in Sheets that does a small call to Google's version of that just to see, like, is it close or not? And then you get, for a massive data set, drag down, get the whole distribution, and you can see it. So if ever you want to understand how closely related or how relevant one thing is to another, you can use it. There's one caveat. Expensive shoes, or I don't want expensive shoes, like that inclusion of don't, isn't going to be a massive factor when you're looking at it. Those two statements are still very similar. So there are times where you may get tripped up. I also tried using it to work out whether a term was branded or non-branded. If your brand terms are very similar to non-brand terms, it's kind of rubbish for that. So I would say the best thing you can do is experiment for your given use case, and always be slightly skeptical when someone says, I have the solution for you. Because the devil is in the detail, and that's where the different, like, success kind of dies on the vine. It's if you haven't really made it sure it works for you, you don't save the time you think you will.
Love that. I wanted to get back to your Instagram study here, because I mean, you're right. We were starting to see Instagram content being indexed more in there. So I'm curious, like, what are some findings you can share with what you're doing on the relationships between searches? I mean, I would love to get more of my Instagram videos showing up.
So right now, we're still making conclusions, but some shocking things, like nearly 27%, I think, of posts didn't have any hashtags. So the kind of relationship of, does your post get featured in search to whether it has hashtags or not isn't super relevant. Lengthwise, somewhere around the 200, 300 character mark, like for your actual like post description. Seems like that correlates with being found. What else? Age, most of the content's between 1 and 3 months, so it's not all super fresh. But if it's an old piece of content, chances are it might not get featured. I think there's some of the key ones. In relationship to the query, like coming back to Cosign similarity, like everything scoring somewhere between 0.5 and 0.8. So there's nothing on the low end of the distribution, but very little right on the high end. So but interpreting that, Google just needs to see that post content's relevant to the query, which I guess shock horror won't come as a surprise. But if you need to optimize your content, you don't have to throw tons and tons of paragraphs at it. You don't have to paste it with 20 hashtags, 3 to 5 hashtags, 200 characters, relevant to the query you want to show for. That seems like a good recipe, but that doesn't feel I've not made you the best cake in the world, but I've given you a cookie based on data there.
All right, guys. All right, you just got we got schooled on how to get our Instagram posts ranking real quick right there. So let's go into. We're coming close to the end of the show here. I just want, guys, if you have any questions, ask them in the live chat. So let's start looking ahead. I mean, how do you see with these vector embeddings, cosigns, and chunks? Is this just buzzwords? Is this something that we should actually still like really pay attention to, and especially when it comes to LLMs? What are your thoughts there?
So I've taught SEO for a long time, and the deck that I have used to teach SEO is very, very similar conceptually to what I might teach tomorrow. There are some critical differences that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's an overlap, but I do think, we are in a world of new technology, shiny things, professionals who are easily distracted by new shiny things, and that will normalize them, right? Like back when crawlers first introduced, Link Sleuth, Screaming Frog, like they were like the hottest thing that's going to revolutionize it, and they are amazing. Screaming Frog's still here. There's hundreds of others, but it's a tool, and the good SEOs will use the tools. The great SEOs will use the tools to get even better. Chunking, the advice around chunking can be just reduced to one question, one answer, small chunks, concise writing, do good for humans. That isn't very different to what it was like a year or two ago. So I think a lot of what we're getting super excited about right now is there are people nerding out for working out what's going on under the hood, what's the best advice we can give people. But by the time you then distill it into, well, what do I do with this? I think a lot of people might feel a bit chilled out because it's not super different. It is different, but it's not like what we do doesn't count anymore. Bots still need to crawl it well. The details may be different, whether it renders JavaScript or not. We do need to worry about that, but we're still optimizing for a bot. It still has to interpret code. The language still needs to be good. We still need to give people content that they're looking for. It's just how you discover the types of content and how we deal with conversational search and that kind in this new sort of chatbot paradigm. They're the differences, but a lot of what we talked about today, in a year or two's time, you could get people introduced to it that still may not know what it is, but they could still probably be pretty good at what they do. So I think we're good.
Love that. Okay, when in this world of like AI and like companies getting less clicks, and I know this is a big question for a lot of consultants, but like I'm curious, like how are you explaining this to your clients? Because I mean, for me, it's like AI over is taking it. How do you explain that to, and how do you keep them as a customer? Because like they say, okay, well, you're not doing your work because you're losing clicks.
So a couple of things. I think firstly, we've got to tell people the direction of travel. Like we don't know exactly what's coming, but the writing is on the wall. Like less clicks. We are in a less click future. Whatever we say, and we can see that now it's playing out in the data. If you're in publishing, you're in a real bad place. If you're in anything in the knowledge economy, you're considering your life choices. If you're product and e-commerce, you're going to have to start to diversify. So I think telling that story, I think getting people back looking at things like impressions, and even Google Trends data. Trends is coming. They're making a more robust, like official Trends API soon. So I think we'll be using that data more. And because the reason why we need this is not because this tells you what dollars you're making. It's that piece of the puzzle, that attribution is missing. We don't have an answer to that yet. But when someone says, but is it because our SEO is worse, our visibility is worse? You want to show your impressions are just as high, your trends are either up or down, and at least you can kind of give some sanity for the overall vision, even if that messy middle, what exactly is generating my cache is fuzzy. So that's one of the key parts. The other one is SEOs need to become really comfortable with optimizing feeds. Google Merchant Feed, for example. Reddit, kind of feed. Wikipedia, kind of feed. Google My Business profiles, kind of. There are all of these data providers that are trusted sources that are being used. Instagram, we talked about as well. Learn how we can harness those. I'm not a social media manager. I don't run paid search. I haven't done for 14-ish years. But I still know I need a Merchant Center account. I still need to get that observability. Is that content optimized? So there's not being afraid to get out of your lane, but also to tell people why you need to get out of it, because frankly, it's all search. Like the 10 blue links, I'm only optimizing the 10 blue links. That I found a talk that I gave on that like 12 years ago of us saying this paradigm's about to end. No one cared back then, but it's not a new story. This whole it's a game. It's not super new. We've been worried about this. We're in like this perma crisis of I'm going to be out of a job next year. Now, if you don't adapt to this now, you possibly will be. But that's never not been true, right? Like when Penguin hit, or Panda hit or any of these other big updates. That was just as true then. So being open, being upfront, and then just testing. Be curious. Like, find your answers as well.
Love that. Okay, so on the flip side of things, people are, some clients are always asking like, hey, we were looking in ChatGPT and they can't find our brand. So I mean, like, so what do you tell them, and how are you helping? If there's one thing that you can give to an SEO to like optimize for like ChatGPT and getting shown up, and two parts. First, what do you tell your clients?
We can't find my brand. So if I hear that, I say, what did you search for and where did you search?
Okay.
A bit like traditional Google ones, like, are you incognito or are you signed in? Like those kind of questions. Mm-hmm. The new one is, what did you search and where did you search it? Because the fact is, like, the complexity or the just the nature of results from LLMs, there are so many reasons why your result might turn up. You could just have to repeat that search 6 times and you'll show up on 7 or on 5 of them, but you might have just been missing from one. Mm-hmm. So there's just this kind of innate variability of results, which makes tracking this stuff really hard. If you want to do your clients a real solid, it's invest in some of the tooling that helps you get those answers. One of them is behind your shoulder. There you go. But obviously, I mean, that's more enterprise grade. Yeah. There are a lot of more entry level kind of pieces in there. Wakey, what AI knows about you. Ahrefs, there's a couple that do that. Investing in that, but if nothing else, it's just run lots of different searches. Try and think of like, what questions are your customers likely to ask, and how visible are you? Like, and if you're not visible, what gets quoted more often? I've got a lot of clients in the space that want to be shown at that mid funnel best comparative searches. It's all editorial, and none of it is their blog. And it's like, well, are our blogs going to rank? It's like, you're probably not. So that's a call to PR. Outreach, all of the things that we've been wanting to do for a while. It's kind of get seen on those sites, because it might not be your blog that's where people are looking.
Love it, dropping all these knowledge bombs. So I didn't see any questions come in. So this is the last question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. If someone wants to get into the SEO game right now, become an SEO professional, what would your one piece of advice be to them?
We test stuff. Rank a website. Rank a website. Like, get really, really down to what levers do you have to pull? Where do you show? Where does traffic come from when you get it? Separate it from keyword with biggest volume. Stick keyword with biggest volume on page. Then wonder why traffic's not coming. Like that. That doesn't work. But until you've done it yourself, until you've seen it and you can talk about it, you won't get employed to do it for somebody else. So I think you have to go that one step and build it. But it's never been easier to do that. You can absolutely go and spin up a website and test this stuff for yourself. And your experiences are just as important as the guff I put on LinkedIn.
There you go. Love that. Okay, for this episode to feel complete for you, any last comments, any other pieces of advice for the audience out there, and how can people get a hold of you?
Advice. I just test it. Keep testing it. Like, everything that's coming out around AI search, GEO, AEO, whatever we're calling it, like everything that's coming out is still to be decided. Like, even the theory about how LLMs work and how RAG works, like, it's all changing. Like, we thought we understood something that happened in GPT 4.1, then 5 comes out and it does it differently. And it's you have to test stuff what works. And there's a lot of people that are sharing and learning in public, and don't be afraid to do the same. Like, if you're coming out saying, I know all the answers, I'm the best at this, you're going to get found out, because frankly you're not, because you can't be. There's just no way. And then finding me, Chris Green SEO, on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, I'm most active. I think I still have a Twitter handle, and then chris-green.net. If you're looking for me, put SEO after my name, because there are lots of other Chris Greens, and they're all far more interesting than I am. So don't get distracted.
Nah, you're very interesting, brother. All right, guys, let's give a round of applause. All right, Chris, can you hold on for one quick second? Hold on for one quick second while I sign off here. Hold on. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SF Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to visit our sponsor. Go to tryprofound.com for your enterprise AEO needs. Till next time, I will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, cause the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show, let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now, time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!